You know, the greatest strategic failure in growth isn't a bad product or a weak market. It's something called information entropy. It's this belief that more data automatically leads to better decisions, but it ignores a simple neurological fact. Tracking everything ensures that you optimize nothing. We've all been there, right? Staring at a dashboard that's packed with dozens of charts, feeling this sense of control because we have so much information at our fingertips. But what if that feeling is just an illusion? What if the very tools we built for clarity are actually the source of our confusion, the reason our growth has stalled? Today, we're diving into a system designed to fix that once and for all. It's called the measurement hierarchy. Think of it as a blueprint for strategically stripping away all the noise until you're left with the one single metric that actually predicts your future. So you can stop just reporting on what happened and start engineering what's next.
So here's our roadmap for today. It's a clear path from chaos to total clarity. We're going to start by diagnosing the core problem that plagues so many teams, the data paralysis crisis. Then we'll become data detectives, breaking down the 3 types of metrics so we can finally tell the signal from the noise. From there, we'll get practical, showing you the exact filter to find your one true metric. We'll even explore the psychology that makes this system so darn powerful, before laying out the precise steps to put it into action. And finally, we'll look at the ultimate transformation this brings, shifting your role from a simple reporter of data into an architect of results. All right, let's start with a problem that I'm sure feels familiar to almost everyone. We are absolutely drowning in data. It feels like we have dashboards for our dashboards. We have these endless streams of analytics, reports, charts. We have access to more information than at any point in human history. But let's be honest, is it making us smarter? Is it making us faster? For a lot of us, the answer is a hard no. In fact, it's doing the exact opposite. It's creating this state of analysis paralysis where we're so overwhelmed we can't make a decisive move. Now, just let that sink in for a second. This idea cuts right against the grain of almost all modern business wisdom. We assume that a massive, comprehensive dashboard gives us control, right? That a 50-page weekly report is a sign of diligence. But it's a total paradox. The argument here is that this belief itself is the single greatest strategic failure. See, more data doesn't clarify, it usually just obscures. It creates this fog of war where teams are incredibly busy, but they're not productive. They're just spinning their wheels on analysis instead of driving meaningful action. And that isn't just inefficient, it's a quiet killer of momentum. So I want you to really consider this question. That tool you open up every single morning, the one filled with all those charts and numbers, what if it isn't your solution? What if it's the very thing holding you and your team back? It's a comforting illusion, isn't it? To see all that data and feel like you've got your finger on the pulse of the business. But the truth can be a little blunt. That big, comprehensive report might be the exact reason your growth has flatlined. The problem isn't a lack of information. It's a lack of focus caused by too much of it. And this right here is the core neurological truth of it all. Our brains have a finite amount of what you might call attention capital. When you try to track 50 different metrics, you're not being comprehensive. You're just diluting your focus into 50 tiny, ineffective pieces. This is information entropy in a nutshell. The more variables you introduce, the more disordered and chaotic the system gets, and the less capable you are of making a clear, effective decision. The result? Strategic paralysis. You track everything, and because of that, you truly optimize nothing. Okay, so if tracking everything is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's not about finding even more data, it's about introducing a hierarchy. It's about finally understanding that not all metrics are created equal. So let's break down the 3 distinct tiers of data. First up, at the very bottom of the hierarchy, we have vanity metrics. And these are, by far, the most seductive and dangerous numbers you'll find on any dashboard. They give you what psychologists call cognitive ease, which is a fancy way of saying they just make you feel good. Think about a huge spike in website page views or a jump in social media followers. It feels like a massive win, right? But these numbers have zero strategic leverage. They don't predict revenue, they don't correlate with customer retention, and they certainly don't tell you what to do next. This is the vanity trap, and the very first step to getting clarity is to ruthlessly kick these metrics out of you. Okay, let's move up to the next tier, lagging metrics. Now, unlike vanity metrics, these are actually important. We're talking about monthly revenue, customer churn, total profit. These are the big outcomes that define business success. But here's the crucial catch. They are historical results. They report on the past. The actions that produced last month's revenue, they're already done. You can't change them. That's why they're called lagging. They tell you what happened, but they give you absolutely no insight into why it happened, or more importantly, how to influence next month's numbers. Staring at your monthly revenue is like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. Yeah, you can see where you've been, but you have no idea how to steer. And this brings us to the very top of the pyramid, the signal in all the noise, leading indicators. These are the metrics that matter most, and for two simple reasons. They are both predictive and controllable. A leading indicator is an input you can directly influence today that has a high correlation with a desired lagging outcome tomorrow. So for a subscription business, the lagging metric is monthly recurring revenue. But a powerful leading indicator might be something like the percentage of new users who complete onboarding within their first 24 hours. That is a number your product team can actively work on every single day. And if they succeed in raising that number, the lagging metric of revenue will almost certainly follow. This is your North Star. So let's just put it all together in this one simple table. Think of this as a filter for every single metric you're currently tracking. Just ask yourself, what is its purpose? Vanity metrics. Their purpose is to serve the ego, and their actionability is 0. Lagging metrics. They report on past outcomes, but their actionability is low because the event has already happened. But leading indicators, they're all about the future. Their entire purpose is to drive action, and their actionability is incredibly high. This is the simple, brutal filter you have to apply to every single number that's fighting for your attention. All right, so we get the theory of the 3 tiers, but now let's get to the practical application. How do you actually isolate that one single leading indicator, your North Star, from the hundreds of things you could be measuring? Well, the system for this is called the lever action filter. The lever action filter is really the engine of the entire measurement hierarchy, and its job is to be absolutely ruthless. It forces you to rank every single data point, not by how interesting it is, but by its raw predictive power. The goal here is completely counterintuitive in our data-rich world. It's about ignoring 95% of your data. It's about intentionally and strategically discarding the noise so you can focus all of your team's energy on the one metric that acts as the lead domino. You push that one domino correctly and the rest will fall into place.
So how does this filter actually work? Well, it applies one simple but incredibly powerful test to any potential metric you're considering. You have to ask this exact question. If this number drops by 10%, do we know exactly what work to do tomorrow to fix it? Let's try it. If your monthly revenue drops by 10%, what do? The answer is fuzzy, right? Run more ads, improve the product. It fails the test. But what if your onboarding completion rate drops by 10%? The answer is precise. Analyze the user flow, find the broken step, clarify the instructions. It passes. This simple constraint forces your focus onto controllable inputs, not uncontrollable outputs. It makes sure every number you track is directly tied to a specific action.
And what's the ultimate payoff for all this ruthless filtering? It's a massive increase in something called decision velocity. When your team is no longer paralyzed by 50 different variables, when they are all obsessed with one clear, actionable number, the data fog just lifts. Those endless debates about what to do next, they disappear. You can see instantly whether your actions are moving that lead domino. You start making better decisions way faster. And that is the real non-negotiable metric of a high-performing team.
Now, this system isn't just about data science or spreadsheets. It's actually deeply rooted in human psychology. It works because it's designed around how our brains actually function. So let's explore the behavioral principles that really give the measurement hierarchy its power.
Just look at this stark comparison. On the left, you've got a typical team, totally overwhelmed with dozens of metrics. They're suffering from a high cognitive load. And this isn't just about feeling stressed, it leads directly to decision fatigue, where the sheer volume of choices just degrades the quality of every single decision they make. The result is diffused, ineffective effort. Now on the right, you have a team operating under the measurement hierarchy. With only one metric to worry about, cognitive load plummets, decision velocity skyrockets, and all of their effort gets channeled into focused, purposeful action. The difference isn't the talent of the team, it's the clarity of their target.
So the key takeaway here is that the system systematically leverages really powerful human behaviors. First, cognitive load reduction. By cutting the number of targets down to 1, you free up so much mental bandwidth and you eliminate the fatigue that causes teams to stall. Second, it taps into something called the goal gradient effect. This is a proven psychological principle that says our motivation and effort actually increase the visibly closer we get to a clear goal. A single metric makes progress tangible, and that's incredibly motivating. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it leverages the agency bias. People are just profoundly more motivated when they feel like they are in control. By measuring them on controllable leading indicators, not distant lagging outcomes, you give them a direct sense of agency, and that creates a powerful progress loop that keeps the team engaged and driving forward.
All right, we've covered the what and the why. So now let's translate all these insights into a concrete path to mastery. This is the actionable blueprint you can use to implement this system in your own organization, starting as soon as this is over.
The process is deceptively simple, but it requires a ton of discipline. Step 1 is to execute the correlation audit. This is a rigorous data exercise where you analyze all your user behaviors to find the one controllable input that most reliably predicts your key lagging outcome, whether that's revenue or retention. Step 2, define the North Star mandate. Now, this isn't just about picking a metric, it's a declaration. It becomes the only metric your team obsesses over, day in and day out. It's the organizing principle for every project's every meeting. And then, step 3, the most radical and most important one, apply the kill the dashboard rule.
This is the moment of truth. This is the point where strategy requires real courage. To achieve true mastery, you have to have the discipline to delete everything from your primary team dashboard that isn't your North Star or a direct input to it. It's going to feel risky. Your instincts are going to scream at you that you're losing visibility. But what you're actually losing is the noise. You are forcing clarity upon the organization. You're making a conscious strategic choice to stop looking at the distracting fog and start mastering the one lever that actually drives your growth. When you successfully implement this hierarchy, something really profound happens. It's not just your dashboards that change. Your entire role and your identity within the organization completely transforms. Let's take a look at that final transformation.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the shift. Before, you were a reporter of data. Your job was to explain what happened in the past. You observed outputs, and you were often paralyzed by all the noise. After you implement the measurement hierarchy, you become an architect of results. You stop just reporting on the past, and you start engineering the future. You stop observing outputs, and you start mastering the levers that create them. You are no longer paralyzed by noise. You are driven by a single clear signal.
Ultimately, the essential insight of the measurement hierarchy is that tracking is not the same thing as steering. It is the cold logic of systems optimization applied to the profound reality of human attention. By isolating that one lead domino and ignoring the rest, you create focus, you build momentum, and you empower your team to do the work that truly matters. So the final question you should take back to your team isn't, what else should we add to our dashboard? But what are we brave enough to remove?